Hey guys, it's Marshall with you again, and back in the tool set now. I know in the previous video I said we were going to do some more tutorials with the Quests plugin incorporated in, but I thought it might be a little bit more valuable to first demonstrate another, maybe another feature, or I guess not another feature, but another example of how we can use a special effects plugin in a standalone environment. This one is going to be a little different. So far we've done the, the basic, put a flame on something, and then we've gone and done the cave-in, ceiling falling in and stuff like that. But I want to kind of expand it a little bit to show you some other things you can do, and to kind of take it just up just a little bit more to show you how you can use multiple flags for things. So far we've only used one flag for this. We've used one flag for the ceiling cave-in, but I'm going to go through an example now of how you can actually use multiple flags to do a bunch of things. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a scenario or a scene where we're going to have a bunch of control panels, and the player can come along, click on the control panels to activate them, and when they activate all of them, we're going to summon some kind of creature for the player to fight. When the creature dies, we're going to reset the whole scene so that another player can come along and do the same scene. So the first thing we're going to do is put in a little bit of flavor. We're going to just over here my blueprints, and I'm going to grab, let's see here, probably this thing here is kind of like a little summoning thing. There we go. That should do. And we want some, cool effects and stuff, and these control panels that we're going to allow the player to click on. So, in order to do that, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you something that's included with the Special Effects plugin. I'm going to bring over my blueprints, and under Legends Quest, under Special Effects, there's an object here called a generic placeable. So we're going to grab that, and it looks kind of like this little pillar here. Now the reason why we should be using this is because it's already configured. It's got the scripts that it needs already on it. It's got variables already on it that we may need, and it's got all the settings that we already need. The only thing that we want to do is change its name and its appearance type. So I'm going to pull that over here. And the first thing we're going to do is just change its name. That's easy. Right now it's called generic placeable, so we're just going to call it control panel just for fun. And we're going to change its appearance to the control panel. So we'll just grab the control panel's appearance, this thing here. There we go. And then we're going to move this back out of the way, and we'll move our blueprints back out of the way. And here's our little control panel object that we're going to let the players interact with. So basically, a player comes along, is going to click on this thing to activate it, and we'll have a few of them. We'll actually have four. There's 4 pillars. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's good. So we'll make 4 of them. So all we have to do is get this one. That's all we have to do is change its appearance and its name to be something meaningful. Position it where we want it, and I'm just going to take a copy of it and spread it around into the other sections of this little summoning thing that we've got here. Kind of put you, it doesn't have to be perfect for this, but there we go. And we're going to put another copy over at this one, this pillar, and there we go, that's close enough, and one more over at this pillar. So the player has to come along, click on these 4 things, and kind of activate them. Now, if we were actually using the Legends Quest plugin with this and actually making this a quest, we could actually use these as the objective type use placeable or put an item in a placeable, something like that. Maybe we could have a quest where the player's got to collect 4 things to activate these 4 control panels, maybe 4 gems or something like that. Player goes off in the dungeon, finds the 4 gems, comes along here, clicks on one of these. The quest objective of put item in placeable, if you're familiar with that one, could be used with these things to do pretty much what we're going to do here now with the Special Effects plugin standalone, only just not integrated into a quest. So there's our 4 objects. Now what we want to do is have the player come along, click on one of these to activate one, and then when they click on all 4 of them, we're going to have our little summon, our little demon or whatever summon in. But we would like to have some special effects each time a player clicks on one of these things. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a little flame come down from the sky and catch one of these little pylons here on fire. That'll kind of be a cool indicator that the player, yeah, I clicked on it and something happened. So what we're going to do for this is we're going to grab our blueprints and we're going to, as before, we're going to grab our little SE, our little special effects object helper object, and we're going to put it down at each pylon, kind of like that. Maybe a little higher. There we go. And we're going to put 4 of these down, 1 at each pylon. And the flag, you know, is kind of the centerpiece of it, so that's kind of where you want it. And we'll raise you up a little bit. There we go. And 1 more. And these are our 4 special effects helpers. And we're going to give them some unique tags. So what we'll do is we'll grab our properties for this thing, and we'll call this one, this one will go with this one. So we'll say your pylon 1 is his tag, and we'll just go around clockwise. This one will be pylon 2, and we'll go around to the 3rd one, pylon 3, and go around to the last one. We'll call that one pylon 4, like that. Whoops. We'll throw that back over there. We'll throw that back over there, like so. Okay, so we've got these 4 special effects object helpers placed, and they're all unique. They all have unique tags, pylons 1 to 4. We have these control panels, these 4 control panels there. And now we're going to, of course, want to have a spawn point where we're going to want to spawn in our little demon. So we're just going to use a regular Legends spawn waypoint for a creature. So we'll grab one of those. That's the non-mob one. Let's get the mob one. There we go. And we're going to put that right in the center. So he'll spawn in right in the middle of this thing here. And we'll load the... actually, we don't even have a creature yet. Let's grab a creature. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab like an ogre here. And make a copy of him. There's our ogre. And we're going to change his name. We'll just call him George the Demon. George the Demon. There you go. So George the Demon, and he's good. So we'll leave the rest as is. And we've got ourselves George the Demon. Kind of looks like that. So that's good. That's George the Demon. He's what we're going to actually spawn. So we'll select our spawn point. We'll fire up the spawn plugin on it. And we'll edit it. And we'll put George the Demon in here like so. Just like before in the previous video, we're going to set the respawn minutes for George the Demon to -2 because we want him to respawn immediately if someone else triggers this. We don't have the system to wait for a minute. We also want to turn on the trigger spawn just like we did before as well. Now when George the Demon spawns in, we're going to want an effect as well. So we're going to say, again, one of my favorites is the little fire, little flame strike effect. So when George the Demon spawns in, he's going to cause that, and that's it. That's all we have to do. Just the trigger spawn is the trick which prevents him from spawning in. This means some outside force is going to activate this spawn point to make George spawn in. So we still have to activate that spawn point. We have yet to do that. So the final piece that we need for this scene is get ourselves a special effects manager. So we're going to grab our special effects manager waypoint and lay that down. And there we go. So this is our scene, pretty much all done in laying things, and all we have to do now is configure it. So this is where it gets a little different from before. What we're going to do is we're actually going to have our manager watch for multiple flags, multiple different flags, and it's going to perform special effects based on which flags are active. So how we're going to do this is simple. We're going to select one of these placeable objects, one of these special little control panels. We're going to fire up the special effects plugin on it. Select File, Set Flag On, Placeable Instance, because we're using it placeable this time around. Now remember, we have flag 1 set for our brazier, we have flag 2 for our ceiling trap, so we're going to use flag 3 for this guy. So when a player comes along clicks on this placeable object, flag 3 is going to activate. Okay, big deal, nothing else happens. That's fine. Flag 3 is active when a player clicks on that. And we'll come over to this one and we'll do the same thing. Fire up the SE plugin, set flag on a placeable instance. However, this time we're going to say for this one, flag 4 gets set instead of flag 3. And we'll do the same thing again for this one. Plugins, special effects plugin, set flag on a placeable instance, and this one's going to be flag 5. And then the last one over here, special effects plugin, set flag on placeable instance. This is going to be flag 6. Okay, so each one of these placeables, when they're clicked on, will set a different flag. Flags 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now all we have to do is tell our special effects manager, and again we have to give this guy a unique tag just so he doesn't match anybody else's tag on the scene, and configure this guy to perform a whole bunch of different things. So we'll select him and fire up the SE plugin and select File, Special Effects. Okay, now the first thing we want to have happen is when a player clicks on this first control panel, we want pylon 1 to catch on fire. We want a special effect, a flame to come down from the sky, and when it comes down we want this pylon to burst into flame. So to do that, we're going to have flag 3. When flag 3 is turned on, we're going to have a visual effect occur, and the visual effect is going to happen on pylon 1. The visual effect is going to be a VFX hit spell flame strike. So a flame is going to come down from the sky immediately as soon as the player clicks on this particular placeable object, because this one sets flag 3. Okay, no delay and no duration. This is a hit spell type, so it's just a temporary thing, comes down and it's done. Finished. The next thing we want to have happen is a second visual effect. Also when flag 3 is active, and also on pylon 1. This visual effect is going to be a little different. This one is going to be VFX duration fire. So what's going to happen is, and we'll set this to half a second, and the duration is going to be -1. So what this means is that the very first thing that's going to happen when a player clicks on this particular control panel is right here. A flame is going to come down immediately, and then half a second later it's going to catch fire and it's going to stay there permanently after 0.5 seconds. And it's going to stay permanently because we have the duration set to -1 for this, so it'll stay lit up until something else comes along and turns it off. So we'll add that one in. That's pylon 1 on flag 3. Okay, and we'll do the next one. The next one is going to be this control panel over here. Now, however, when a player comes and clicks on this control panel, flag 3 is not set. Flag 4 is set. So what we're going to do is uncheck flag 3, select flag 4. And when flag 4 is activated, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to cause a visual effect. However, this time we're going to have it on pylon number 2, which is the other pylon. But it's going to be the exact same effect. So we're going to put in VFX hit spell flame strike. And it's going to be immediate pylon 2. Also, when flag 4 is active on pylon 2, we're going to cause that VFX duration fire. And it's going to happen a half a second later, and it's going to be permanent. Add. Now we'll move on to the next control panel, and that other control panel that sets flag 5 on, we'll have the exact same thing again, and he'll do his on pylon 3, and VFX hit spell flame strike, add, and then again pylon 3, VFX duration fire, and it'll happen a half a second later with a -1 duration. Add, and then our last one, flag 6. When flag 6 gets active, we'll set pylon 4 ablaze with a VFX hit spell flame strike, and it'll be immediate. And then finally Also on flag 6 is on pylon 4, we'll catch it on fire and keep it burning. VFX duration fire. That'll happen a half second and be permanent. Add. So what we've got done is when a player comes along, clicks on any of these control panels, and a corresponding flame will come down and hit the little pylon and then catch it on fire, and the fire will stay put. The player can run around and do all 4 of these and cause all 4 of these little pylons to catch on fire. That's all fine and dandy and cool visual effect, but what do we actually want to accomplish here? We want our demon to spawn, and we want him to spawn when all 4 of these are lit up. So what we do is we have another one. Activate a spawn point. Now, of course, we're going to need, I'm going to actually abort this. I'm just going to hit finish here because I need to record this guy's waypoint tag. We need to actually tell it what waypoint we're going to be activating. So I have to record that, which I just did. Now I have that waypoint tag, that spawn point tag, and we'll load up the SE plugin on this again and activate a spawn point. The tag of the spawn point is going to be this, and we're going to have it happen, say, 1 second after the 4 pylons are on fire. But how do we tell when all 4 pylons are on fire? Well, that's actually quite easy. We know that all 4 pylons are on fire when flags 3, 4, 5, and 6 are active. So when all 4 of these flags are active, we know that all of these 4 pylons are on fire. Okay, so that's how we do that. Add. And of course, as always, whenever we're spawning anything, we want to do a fire spawning activity as well, which will also be when flags 3, 4, 5, and 6 are active. And we'll set this to 1.5 seconds afterward because we do want to have give the actual waypoint a chance to activate. So we'll do that. Okay, so that's great. We've got this thing now set up so that when players click on all 4 of these and all 4 flames come down, George the Demon is going to spawn in right in the center, and he'll only do that when all of these are on and on fire. Okay, wonderful, great, that's good. Now we have one little final tidbit that we need to resolve, and that is what happens when this scenario is done. What happens, this thing is built for persistent worlds, so what happens when, the players have killed off George the Demon and off they go, they leave, and then you get another group of adventurers that come along who want to do this as well. Well, all these pylons are already lit and George is already spawned in and dead, so how do we fix that? How do we get around this problem? Well, what we need to do is we need to reset everything. Now, when do we reset everything is the big question. If you recall from our previous video over here, what we did is we triggered our ceiling collapse, and then 8 seconds later we reset everything. That may not necessarily work so good over here, because we don't know how long George the Demon is going to last. He may live longer than 8 seconds. We can't really set a time on this. It doesn't really work so well. So maybe a better idea will be to actually reset this thing when George the Demon is despawned, when he dies. And how we'll do that is we'll actually just select George the Demon from our placeable blueprints. We're not going to place him. We're just going to select him. We're going to load the SE plugin. We're going to select File, Set Flag On, Creature Blueprint on Death Event. So when George the Demon dies, we're going to set a flag. The flag we're going to set is flag 7. Remember, flag 1 is the brazier, flag 2 is the ceiling collapse, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are our 4 pylons and our 4 control panels we're going to activate, so the next one that's not used is flag 7. So when George the Demon dies, flag 7 is going to get activated. Finish. Done. Now what we can do is we can go back here, select this waypoint here, this Special Effects Manager, and perform another task. File, Special Effects, reset, all effects and flags, no delay required when flag 7 becomes active. So when flag 7 becomes active, everything in this list gets reset. So all of the permanent fires that we have configured here will all go out. The waypoint will no longer be active, so we'll be all reset, ready for the next group. So we'll add this in. Finish. And that's it. We are done. That is the entire scene. So now what we'll do is we'll stop this video here. We'll log into game. Again, we're going to fire this up in single player because this has nothing to do with the Quest plugin yet. So we'll fire this up in single player and see how it looks. So we'll see you in game in a second. Okay, so we're in game now, and as you can see, here's our little summoning pad and our 4 little control panels here, and we'll walk over here now and see what happens. So we'll just click on this first one, and there's our flame effect and our fire. So that's the first one. And you can do these in any order you want. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to go over and do this one next. There's another one. And we'll do this one. There we go. There's another one. And then I think this one over here is our last one. Now I could have taken another step further, and I could have placed, did like an info message, because remember we can do info messages when we did the ceiling collapse. We had an alert here saying the ceiling collapse. Maybe I should have probably put another one in here for additional information saying a demon is summoned, or George the demon appears before you, or something like that. Prepare for battle, or something interesting. But you know, you get the idea. I think we're getting to the point now where you can kind of do a few things on your own. So now I'm going to click on this one, which should light this last pylon, summon George, we kill George, and then all of this should get reset and these fires should go out. So I'm going to do that now and wait for 1 second, and there's George spawned in, and he's all angry that we pulled him from his happy little home in hell or wherever it is he comes from. So we're going to notice that our flames are still, I'm just running away from him for fun here. We'll notice that our flames stay active here, and they're not going to go out because we have set it not to reset. So we're going to give George a throwdown here, and then boom, he's dead. And then of course notice that, you know, I'm level 18 here, so we'll notice that our flames got reset and they are put out. Now ready again for the next player to come along. Next player comes along, same thing, they can go ahead and reactivate this thing just like it never happened. And of course, because we have -2 set in that spawn point, George will spawn in again right away here. There he is. And we'll be able to fight him again. I'm sorry about that there, George. You know, I feel kind of bad, but you know, you're furthering a purpose here. So thanks for your contribution there, George. Anyway, so yeah, so that's pretty much how we can use multiple flags to perform a reaction. We can have, you know, this same special effects manager watch for these individual flags, and then also have it watch for multiple flags. And when all of those multiple flags are in a, you know, particular state, we can have an effect happen. Now right away this opens some doors for us. We can do things like combination locks. We can have, you know, several levers here, and each lever can set a flag, and we can even configure that lever to be toggle on and off, turn a flag on and off when it's thrown. And then, you know, have like half dozen levers here, and you have to throw the levers in a particular arrangement, and then have, you know, maybe a door unlock or something like, or a chest unlock, or summon a demon, or whatever it is you want to do. Have the ceiling collapse. Doesn't matter. But you can do kind of interesting things now as we grow. So I'm going to end this video here, and now I think we're going to move on to a little quest. And combined, you know, maybe what we'll do is we'll do that little combination lock there to open some doors, and maybe get an item, and or something like that, and try and do it within a quest. And then of course finally after do that, we'll do a larger adventure where we can have, like, you know, quests where we can have multiple endings, which will incorporate several special effects. So summon a demon or something like that, and then take it from there. So I'm going to end this video here, and see you back in the tool set where we'll do our first small quest and special effect integration. So we'll see you there in a few minutes.